So, Ashish, thank you so much
Yes.
and welcome to BBM Talkies episode 7.
Thank
It
you.
is our pleasure. You've been a founding member of Bikes, Buddies, and More. You are a great friend. For me, you've been inspiration in fitness. You've been an inspiration in experiential travel. Uh, we'll get to that in a bit. But for the rest of the world,
Yeah.
can you tell us what you do for a living?
Thank you, Shashank, for having me here. Clearly, yeah, we've been friends. Thank you very much. So, what do I do for a living? Um, I design an emotional architecture using travel as a medium, right? Where it's not about the journeys you travel, it's not the destination you go to, it's about the memories that you accumulate that stay folded much after you've unpacked your suitcases.
Awesome. Uh, So a lot of us may not know that people like you exist, and that's probably one of the biggest advantages of our community. So at Bikes, Buddies, and More, we're blessed to have such a diverse bunch of members, and I think it's a safe space where we can all share, learn, and grow. I remember before I met you for the first time, uh, I had traveled a little bit in my life. We had done a few countries,
Yeah.
had some nice experience, and I thought this is what the world is about. And then I met you on a trip to Ladakh. More on that later. Uh, and that's when I realized there's so much more.
Mhm.
So, Ashish, for the rest of the world in English, I think what you do is a bespoke holidays, bespoke travel experiences.
Yeah.
But can you delve a little deeper and tell us how do you do what you do?
So what we essentially do at Leisureways is merging art and science of travel, right? And art is the most creative process, right? Which is about the places that you're going to, the hotels you may be staying in. Like I said, the creative process, right? Which is easy to design. The science is delving deeper into people's minds and understanding why they do what they do. All right. And that is what dresses up the art part of it. When I started the company, we got a couple of psychologists on board, all right? And they helped us ask the right questions to people, right? Questions that would bring out their personality traits, their values. Now, personality traits, are things you inherit, they stay with you. Values change over time as you get exposed to, social interactions, exposures, etc. Therefore, because it keeps changing, there's a pre-trip interview process that we have with a client where we deep dive into their minds to learn about their motivations to travel. We want to know about their fears, for example, their attitude towards risk, their values, right? And then we take this back, we glean over the information that we have, and then, like I said, we create. That is something they'll be able to relate to far more than what they think they've come out to
Yeah.
do.
Can you tell us how did you get into this industry? How did it all start?
All right. So what I know for sure that it wasn't accidental, but it wasn't planned either. Um, I remember I was 10 and I had I'd written a poem that somehow won me an award and made its way through getting printed in the Times of India NIE edition. They used to have newspaper in education edition, right?
Wow.
It got printed there, won me an award. My English teacher at that time, I was 10 years old in standard fifth at that time, Mrs. Luthra, I so remember her. She picked it up and she saw something in me that I perhaps hadn't recognized at that time. And she got me registered to the Poetry Society of India. Right on one fine day, I find myself at India International Center with a room full of people who were talking in metaphors,
Oh,
right? And here is this schoolboy with his polished shoes, right? A head full of rhymes or rhythms, sorry, right? Imagine amongst them, I definitely felt completely misplaced. But yet, at the same time, I felt at home because something that truly resonated with me while I was there was my love for storytelling, right? And that's where that just translated into the fact that I've been very fortunate in my growing years, and my parents used to love to travel. So they exposed us to different countries and cultures and people. And I would just come back and share those stories with people. And somehow that just got into
So through school,
yeah,
then you had college,
yes.
and then
I got into, well, yeah. So I worked for a company for 9 years, and that's largely because I wanted to understand. So I'm fairly anal, about getting into people's minds, right? On why people do what they do. And before I would start my own, journey of entrepreneurship.
this was a travel company. Was
Yeah,
this?
yeah. This was a travel company in Connaught Place at that time that I worked with, and I got exposed to. They had fantastic clients, including the U.S. Embassy. So that also exposed me to, a very evolved set of people on what, and how they would travel as opposed to India. So we talk about 30 years ago.
Wow.
India was a very different country then, right? And this is all pre-liberalization era, etc. So I remember this day I returned home in 2003, and I told Yogita that I want to quit. This is first year into a marriage, and she's saying, "What the hell have I done? Who have I gotten married to?" I can tell she still says the same thing, right? That hasn't changed, but she supported me through and through, right? And Leisureways was born from a room at where you used to stay back
But I
in Patel.
think this industry gave you a great life, not professional, I'm talking about personal. So you met Yogita, who was also an aviation professional at that time, working in aviation
Yes,
company.
so Yogita was an SIA girl, a Singapore Airlines International Airlines girl. She used to work in the reservation department at that time. So we just got chatting one day
But
that
how?
I was at the front desk at that time, and I had to call up the airline to make a reservation. And she answers the phone, and she has this fantastic voice,
Yeah.
right? And she and I just got chatting.
How do you do that?
Huh?
How do you do that?
How did you do
And then you
it?
call up to book a ticket and you get married.
No, no, no. It didn't happen like that. So we started seeing each other 9 years after that, actually. So if you ask Yogita, so our variations are different. Our stories vary depending on who you're asking.
Correct.
So if you ask Yogita, she said that I was always discussing my girlfriends with her, right? If you ask me, I think that wasn't the case for sure. I was definitely seeing someone at that time, but yeah, we just hit off very well, and she would go out of her way to clear seats for me. When she and I sit while she's drinking and I'm having my Coke, and I mean Coca-Cola, right? We think we have a script that we can perhaps sell to Bollywood, right? Absolutely, I can tell you, it was never meant to be. It was never meant to be. Imagine if she says I was discussing my girlfriends, and here she's. In fact, I
Yeah.
so vividly remember once she mentioned to me that she's gone home, told her mom कि मेरा कुछ भी हो जाएगा ना मैं इस लड़के से शादी करूंगी.
Wow.
And I said that's like black magic, like voodoo. मतलब, why me, right? And then it happened. I mean, Divya at that time, my girlfriend exited my life, and he came in Yogita.
Power of
Right?
manifestation, and she
Is
still
it
does,
that?
and she still does go above and beyond for you. By the way,
Oh,
so I've known her.
absolutely, absolutely. No, I must tell you, I wouldn't be where I am in life if it hadn't been for her support, obviously.
I agree.
Absolutely.
We all agree.
No, but truly, we all agree truly, right?
So Leisureways was born where the first few years a bit of a struggle. The industry wrote your obituary, etc. But
So we had people who would say, "You're crazy. Why would you charge?" But you know what, Chirag? It comes from valuing yourself, right? It's very easy to lose weight and tell people that's fine, I'll waive it off for you, but you're not valuing yourself. And if you don't do that, no one else will. And we stuck to it. We said, I'm sorry, if you don't, we won't service you. That's what it is. Of course, it was painfully slow. And how I put it, and it just may sound very immodest, but I think what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it was very, very clear in my head that it had to be bespoke, it had to be full of emotions. Like I said, creation, emotional architecture. That was very, very important for me because at that time I figured that luxury is not about how much money you spend, it is how you feel. Imagine, go back to Baden Baden. It's about what is unforgettable. And like it's not about what brings you happiness, right? So I was very, very clear about this that this is how I wanted to do it. Charge people the money. They have to value what we bring to the table. And would you believe it? For the first 15 years, we didn't have a website.
yeah,
We didn't have a website. So at that time, I remember, certain travel publications, including Rob Report and some of the others interviewed us. And there came a time where I said we had to pull all of this off the internet. I don't want Leisureways to be known. It's almost like a covert operation where we went from, if I'm putting it correctly, from being a Rolex to a Patek Philippe.
Yeah.
You had to make your cut. So even today, you have to pay us the fee and you have to spend 2 million rupees to be our customer.
No. So there's this entrepreneur, I'm not able to recall his name, and he shared this. It says, if it's very easy, don't bother doing that. If it's tough, that means you're on the right track. Your idea, your business idea. And I think in a lot of ways, that's just true. I mean, true disruptions and long-term sustainable ventures are hard at the beginning because you're doing something new and novel. So I think this is just another evidence that what you did at that time was hard, but today it is appreciated.
It was unheard of. Let's
Correct.
put it like that. Looking back, honestly, I don't remember the hardships, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say what easy is.
So I think when
as
you're,
well.
so I was talking to Karan in our previous episode, and he says, look, Shashank, and he probably said the same thing. And both of you are entrepreneurs who are masters of your craft and doing great. And even he said the same thing. Look, Shashank, I don't see it as a struggle. I was seeing it as a learning opportunity. I just went with the flow. And Prashant in our first episode said, I just went with the blows. But then when you have a longer horizon of learning and delivering and improving, I think the struggle doesn't feel like struggle at all. So even he was exactly the same words. He said, I didn't feel
But
it was a
like
struggle.
you said, I think journey becomes easy when you have the right support, when you've got people supporting you, right? And entrepreneurship is not easy. I've had friends. I run businesses with, with friends now who were in great jobs, and it took them forever to quit, right? Diwakar, as you know,
Yeah.
right, recently took the plunge,
Yeah.
and I know how much it took for me to, and I wasn't necessarily doing that, but I know what it takes now
Oh,
for
yeah.
someone who's in a great job. You should know, right,
Yes,
as
I
well,
do. Yes, I
as
do.
well, and
So
then
they say there's another famous quote which says, "It takes brains to run a business,
yeah.
but it takes balls to start one."
Yeah, I was much younger then, for sure. Yes.
It's
Look, when you're young, of course, you look risk you'll see, you look at risk very differently at that time, right? You can take the plunge, and quite honestly, entrepreneurship prepares you for it. I mean, I've had business failures, I can tell you. We've lost tons of money, but
let's
it
talk about
doesn't.
that. Let's
Yeah,
just,
okay. Yeah, okay.
like the modern lingo goes, let's
Yeah.
double click on that.
Yeah,
Failures.
tons. Just in travel or otherwise?
In
I
general,
think
yeah, whatever you want to talk
tons. I
about.
mean, there are businesses outside of travel that I invested in, and we've lost tons and tons of money. But look, I mean,
Why?
you could either look at it as having lost money or great learning. It comes at a cost, but that's really the price that you pay for it, right? But you make sure that you don't repeat them, otherwise you'll be on the
So
road.
you learn fast, make those mistakes. Any learning? Can I say, is it safe to say that uh, you shouldn't venture into areas which you're not good at or you don't have deep insights about?
The latter. Of course, you should venture into areas that you have knowledge of. Don't do it otherwise. I mean, see, if you're doing something parallelly, you could risk it, but don't give it all and take the plunge, into an area that you have no idea about. Of course, I think no one would. No one.
Uh, I know for a fact that aggregators have changed the game on travel. Today we have about what, 4.5, 5 crore Indians traveling abroad, and barely a crore and a half file their income tax returns. So there is a huge portion of people who are traveling crazily, and this industry, uh, and please do share, to chime in, I'm sure is poised for growth and a long period of growth. How do you see technology? Is it like aggregators change the game? Uh, is AI going to change the game? Are you looking at leveraging tech in a big way?
Look, I think the travel, again, I'm talking about the mainstream travel industry, has been caught napping on multiple occasions. Um, it took someone like Brian Chesky, who's not even a travel guy, to create Airbnb,
Correct.
right? Which I believe, um, other than the low cost airline, was the most disruptive thing that has happened in
Yes.
travel. It has completely shaken the hospitality industry. Right? So the next one, of course, is AI, and it depends on how you view it. Sitting from where I am, as someone who creates, like I said, emotional architecture around travel for people, um, I don't think it is poised to disrupt us, and I'll tell you multiple reasons why. So while AI can get you restaurants, it can get you hotels, it can even perhaps create a multi-country itinerary for you. What it can't do, it can't intuit, it can't pick emotions, it can't pick the weight, if I can say so, you know, of the pause, when a client is giving you a brief of what he wants to do. AI can't do that. AI can predict patterns, it can't predict emotions. It can it can predict movement, but perhaps not the nuances, right? So I think it'll be a great co-pilot. Will it be a pilot? Time will tell. So I think where the kind of travels that we create for people, I doubt it very much that AI will be able to disrupt it. But here to see, look, it's here to stay, and I'm prepared to accept it to the extent. Look at it. You could use AI for make your life or process more efficient, right? Because that will then give you time to focus on which is
The final.
understanding people, which is what separates us, as travel curators, I imagine, from the rest of the crowd.
When I first met you, I'll have to narrate this for our viewers to get a sense of what Ashish does and his team does. Was I had done Germany 4 times or 3 times before I'd met you. We met in Ladakh. We spent obviously 6, 7 days together. So obviously it was spending a lot of time in very, very close proximity through days and nights and countless hours on Senna. So we really got a sense of who you are, and probably you got a sense of who I am. And then when I said, look, I need to do a holiday, and Ashish says, don't worry, let's do Germany. And I said, dude, I've done Germany 4 times. I don't think there's anything left. I've done the works. He said, have you done Baden-Baden? And I told you this, right?
Hmm.
I hadn't heard of Baden-Baden before that at all.
Hmm.
So Baden-Baden happened thanks to you. It was a boutique hotel. It was a BMW M4 competition convertible. It was all of that spun in, and some crazy experiences. And my wife loved church bells. And lo and behold, one evening there are church bells the moment we land there. So I think some of it is exquisite, which we did not know. The church bells were not a part of my input on our conversation. It was a separate side note conversation maybe a few weeks or months ago. So, to your point, probably yes, because the human in the loop is critical. The fact is, I didn't even ask for Church Bell on this trip. However, it was there because it was there on your mind. So, I think, agreed completely. I think it's a brilliant point. These are well heeled, well traveled, uh, well cared for individuals. So, what does customer service mean for them? And what does customer service mean for you?
Obsession for attention to detail. It doesn't matter as a customer, and this is 37 years of experience talking. Okay, I'm talking about when I was 13 and I started traveling then. It doesn't matter if you're seeking a three-star hotel or a top of the line lot somewhere. Your expectation is exactly the same. You don't want to feel shortchanged at all, right? You want great service. Your definition of greatness can vary, right? But but your expectations are exactly the same. Take Badin for an example. And I remember we were sitting at Starbucks
Right.
those evenings that we would catch up, right? And I remember you were planning to go overseas, like you said. I recommended Baden. But before that, before the destination came in, I remember you telling me very vividly that Srividya, of course, your wife, and she's sitting right there, uh, loves church bells,
Yeah.
right? And this is again, see, essentially what I do is tell stories, right? These are experiences I've left with, and I'm just sharing that with people. And I've been to Baden several times, and there is this hotel that you stayed in, which is like a stone's throw away from, a cathedral there, right?
Yeah.
And I remember every hour you have the church bell tollings.
Yeah.
And I thought this would be a perfect setting for you guys
Yeah.
to be sitting out there in the balcony, which you did, and 4 p.m.
And
in
and,
the
and
church
and I
bell.
called you. I
So
remember clearly, and my wife was
correct,
thrilled. So I
correct,
called you and I said,
correct.
Sivya loves it. Thank you so much. And the whole experience was beautiful. I mean, riding through Black Forest, we've done it, but not this way.
Yeah.
So I think some of it is blank. We went in not knowing the property, not knowing the place, blindly trusting you and trusting the process. So
Yes.
is that what you uh, deliver? Do most of your clients trust you and come in, and then you show them a new dimension of travel?
No, luxury travel is very personal, right? So some of our clients will give us a brief and they will want us to just stick to it, while the others would give a carte blanche, which is what you did, right? Which is typically what we prefer. Because what we intend doing during the pre-interview process is to be able to listen between the words, read between the lines, right? Very often, what people tell you what they want to do is very different from what their heart desire is.
True.
Now, that is where we come in. That's what we need to pick up and create experiences out of, right?
So you manage travel for some of the most illustrious Indians there are, some of the most illustrious global citizens there are. So how do they travel?
So I can tell you, ba- brass tracks, they travel no differently than you and me. Believe you me. The only thing, of course, is they have plenty of money to spend. So they can go experience things that perhaps someone who doesn't have, well, let's say, as much wealth will perhaps not be able to experience. And I can give you an example. This was 2012. We were approached by a family in Bombay that wanted to travel to Falkland Islands. Now, I can promise you, call any company in the mainstream travel and tell them you want to travel to Falkland Island. The chances are they won't even return your call,
Yeah.
right? People won't know. I mean, ask an average Joey, what is the capital of Falkland Island? They won't even know where to go, right? And so we took that challenge. But why did they want to go there? So there is this particular species of penguins, colonies rather, that are only found in that part of the world. The rockhopper penguins, and they wanted to see those penguins. Okay, now this is again we're talking about a country that has only 3,600 people as a population. Okay, so there's hardly any infrastructure. There are no roads, uh, and these penguins are found on uninhabited islands. So there is no infrastructure. There are no hotels, no restaurants, nothing at all. Whatever you have to create from scratch,
So you do
right?
a cruise.
No, no, not at all. Actually, yeah. Well, you just take a boat to get on the island
Correct.
from the mainland. But how did we go about having this? So just a year before that, I was actually in the subarctic region. um, I was witnessing the migration of the polar bears. Every winters they come out of their burrows, these majestic creatures, right? And make their way up to North Pole because as the lakes freeze up, right? Their food, which is seals, etc., come on top, and that's what they hunt for. My guide there, Barbara Johnson, belonged to Falkland Islands. So literally, I'm telling you, just as this family approached us, they were like, the world, I can tell you, the universe rather was
Inspires.
tapping on my shoulder, right? So I reached out to Barbara and I said, "This is where you belong." And a particular client has come out and they want to see this, see these penguins in the natural habitat. And she said, "That's exactly what I'm studying. So
Yeah.
this is right up my alley." I said, "All right." So while I must tell you, this was a very, very difficult trip to organize, but perhaps one of the most satisfying ones, right? So you're pitching tents, right, on rocky surfaces, right? You have to cater for them. The way you commute is by kayaks, right? But it all pays off so nicely because you see these beautiful birds, right, emerge from their burrows, waddling their way through and jump into the ocean. It's almost synchrony, I can tell you. It's just a beautiful experience. So to answer your question, what do the rich do? This is what they're able to do.
So is it safe to say that most of them are fairly evolved, which means they would have done through the journey of evolution?
No, certainly it helps. Absolutely. So you evolve as you travel more. So
So are
such
most of them evolved in general?
very absolutely. They more often than not, they know. what they're expecting from a trip, right? Also, very often, and it doesn't matter whether you're rich or famous, a lot of our clients come to us wanting to go to a place and they end up going to completely something else. And
Yeah.
the reason for that is, like I said, the whole diagnostic process that we go through, but they are more open to acceptance that this is where they're likely to find more value in what they do or what they're seeking, as opposed to a place that they've just heard from a friend who went. So they're definitely far more involved. So I can tell you about another story. So I was speaking to this client only 2 days ago, and he was discussing a trip for 4 generations, right? His grandfather, parents, himself, and his kids, right? And during the conversation, he mentioned to me about this trip we had organized for him 12 years ago, when which he had taken with his grandparents. Um, and 2 years ago, sadly, his grandmother passed away. And after they had performed the last rites, they were just going through her stuff, and they came across a diary that she would maintain and make notes in. And while going through that, through the diary, so they came across a note she had made about a trip they had taken to Jaisalmer. How that was one of the best trips she had ever taken. You know, having meal with her grandchildren under a starlit sky, for example.
Wow.
Right? I can tell you, Shah, that's like a goosebump moment, right? And that tells you the power of travel, right? Uh, what may just seem to many as a daily job can actually move people, right? It can stay with them forever. So travel in that sense, if you see, can live beyond, right? It's like time capsule, right? It will look beyond, your existence or mine for that matter. That's the power.
No, it does. I mean, you make memories of a lifetime when you travel.
So, what do you think is the longest travel that we've arranged for someone?
Longest?
Yeah, in terms of duration. Take a pick. In fact,
Fortnight, month tops.
we've arranged two. So, month is fairly common with honeymooners, right? They tend to take 3 to 4 weeks off. It's 3 months. 3 months. Okay. So there was this couple who was there on honeymoon. Both of them cricket fanatics, loved the Indian team. I remember the Indian team was touring South Africa at that time. So they literally arrived with the team and exited with the team. So they stayed in South Africa for 3 months. That's one. The other one I must tell you. So there's a gentleman who was celebrating his who celebrated his 40th birthday 2 years ago, and from literally he said that when he got into doing what he is doing professionally, he wanted to earn enough money to celebrate his 40th birthday for 3 months in South America, right? And that's what he did. He's based in London, and he did a trip for 3 months and traveling across the South American continent. And his friends joined them in different places, right, and celebrated his birthday. So the celebration literally continued for 3 months in the South American continent. So crazy stuff, right? Now that's how you could say how rich and famous travel. Not famous, but rich.
Rich.
You need wealth, right, to be able to afford a 3 month long trip anywhere in the world for that.
So if you had
So
to pick a,
money.
so if you had to pick a great destination for our viewers to make you feel rich and famous, would you have a list of top three? What do you recommend?
For us, it's not the destination,
Correct. It's about the
right?
experience.
It's the emotion. I can make you feel as great, I can tell you, perhaps in Sri Lanka, as it would be if you're in the Antarctica. Literally. It's just, you just have to recognize that emotion, right? Uh, and that's
Yeah,
the
I think
important
another example.
differentiation people have to understand.
Yeah, another example I had, it was Aman Bagh in Sariska. I clearly remember. Uh, I said, dude, why are you sending me to Sariska? It's nonsense. I agree. So I think it was unbelievable. I mean, the kind of food, the kind of hospitality. So yeah, something as so close to home as Sariska can also be novel experience. I think another experience I've had was Masai Mara, where I think anybody ends up feeling great and rich
Sure.
because you have a ton of airstrips there. So you land in your private charter. You have a nice welcome by the Masai people. Then you have whatever, and then you can get out of your villa and still have lions and tigers walking around.
You could still amplify that experience.
Yeah.
And how?
How would you do that?
Well, how about we tie you up with Jane Goodall? She's the last word on chimpanzees conservation globally. She's 90 plus, right? She's dedicated her life to conservation. Imagine she taking you around. It's a goosebump moment. Or Desmond Tutu, while he was alive, the Archbishop, South Africa, we could arrange a meeting with him. Or you've been to Cape Town,
Yeah.
go on to the Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for
Yeah.
18 years out of the 27 that he was imprisoned. Uh, the people that take you around on a tour of the island are the former inmates.
My God.
Again, a goosebump moment. This is literally Mahatma Gandhi telling you about the freedom struggle.
Yeah.
This is perhaps Amitabh telling you about how to act.
Mhm.
No amount of money can ever buy this, right? And these, like I said, are feelings that stay with you much after you return, right? These are, I mean, highlights, right, of
Yeah.
your trips. And it's so unexpected, I can tell you. I remember Yogita and I went to Robben Island, and I didn't know that it's the former inmates who would take you around. We were weeping, I can tell you, for 3 hours while we were there. We were crying. Imagine the pain, right, of oppression and whatever they felt at that time. But it was truly such a moving experience. And I almost ensure that whoever is go there, see, you get a great perspective.
So this has been very, very interesting, right? So I've been lucky to have you in our life, and you've helped us experience some of those finer nuances. For our audience, we will all eventually get there, but for our audience as of now, what is your advice to make their existing travel plans slightly more fulfilling, slightly more memorable?
Like you need a doctor, right? Like you need a lawyer, hopefully never, but yeah, you must have a travel curator in life. I can tell you, uh, every other person that we come across uh, is clueless about why they're traveling. Absolutely clueless about why they're traveling, right? And like I mentioned, so often people end up going to a place where they had not thought. When they came to us, people want to go to Australia, they're on the flight to South America. So, as parents, what would you want to give to your children? I'm asking you,
Memories, learnings, value system.
right? So, I'd say memories, great education. What they do with it, of course, is their destiny. How would you give them memories?
Yeah.
Right? Travel. And I can tell you, uh, the first international travel that I did, I was 13 at that time. And I can tell you the 6 weeks that we were traveling through UK, Canada, and the US. I remember every single day of it, right? Because I had my grandfather, my parents, and my brother and I, so about 8, 9 hours traveling. It was absolutely the best gift that our parents would give us. The memories that you create, and that's frankly all that you're left with at the end of the day, right? A great memory. So I think reach out to travel creators. They have, well, they possess, I'd say,
The know-how.
not just the know-how, but see, there's a know-how here. They know the nuances
Nuance.
of reaching deep inside your minds to understand what you need, not what you want.
Excellent. So one passion to the other.
Hmm.
Let's uh, slide to the other one.
Hmm.
Let's talk about. So we'll talk about how we met. I
Hmm.
remember we met in Leh,
Yes.
and at that point in time, of course, we were all on Senna. I was new. BBM was in the mind somewhere. It had not. It was not born yet.
Hmm.
And I think somewhere after we met, you've been instrumental in pushing it to production, for the lack of a better word. So Prashant, you, I, Divakar, a lot of us met there. Uh, there was Karthik, there was Harshul, there were like Tony, I think, yeah, I think 7, 8 of us were there. And that's largely where I think a lot of things had solidified and had happened. Uh, I was on the Senna and I would see you very, very uh, soft spoken, not so active, etc. And I think,
Surely one thing like
huh?
that now.
You're not, obviously. You realize the man behind the suit or the man behind the helmet, and that's probably also the attempt of this podcast to show the men behind the helmet
To
and
unveil.
the complex nature of their lives and the depths of their personality.
Yeah.
It was an amazing experience. I remember you've been pulling my leg ever since on Leh, and I've clarified that with Prashant. Uh, and Prashant also said that a big reason why you ride the Street Fighter is thanks to him. Do you agree? Do you want to add something to it?
Look, if it makes him feel good, why not? Right?
We all felt good.
No.
Watching the
So,
DIL go back in a box
so
was
clearly, would I ever give my bike to anyone to ride now? Never. Never.
so. But here's the
That is
thing,
the
right?
learning
But here's the
shot.
thing. Let's also talk about the newest DIL in your garage.
So look, and you know this, right? When I was still contemplating that whether or not I should buy, I reached out to you, and you being you,
Yeah.
completely convinced me to write that big check. I remember that I to this day I don't regret, of course,
Yeah.
but of course, clearly it left a big hole in my pocket. But you know what? I think Diablo was my first love, and I gave it up. But I think she never gave up on me.
Oh yeah.
She had to come back in my life in some form or shape, and here it is
And I
again.
think the amalgamation of these two biggest badges, right? They just epitome of luxury. So Bentley is what it is. The Ducatis and Diavel V4 is what it is. Bringing them together is unbelievable, and I think it's come out. The product is just brilliant. But more importantly, you've chosen to do a very, very unique thing and very unlike me. I ride all my bikes.
Yes.
You actually boxed it up and you put it in your office.
Correct. So it's not boxed up, it's displayed in my
Correct. It's
office.
displayed in
At this
yes.
point in time, because my house is being made, that's where eventually it will make its way in our drawing room. And we're currently actively, brainstorming with our interior
Architect.
decoration team on where it should be placed. Right. So, yes, I've chosen to do that. Like I
And we'll,
said,
we'll drop a few pics of that right now, and you can
okay.
see the Bentley.
So what was I saying? Sorry.
Bentley, yeah, architect.
So yeah, it'll find its way there. And look, would I have bought it to ride it? I think if I had to, I would have bought a normal version to do it.
Correct.
Right? So it's my first love, and it will lie there untouched. Let's put it like virgin, if I can say so. Yeah, never be ridden.
Brilliant.
Get rid of this for sure. This can be misconstrued. Yes.
No, no, awesome. I think that's a beautiful machine.
Yeah.
So take us through your biking journey, Ashish.
When I was young, my mother wouldn't let us ride a bicycle. I remember till my early teens, she wouldn't. She was just so scared that something will just happen to us, to my brother, to my brother and I. And I remember days I would come back from school in the afternoon, my mom would be sleeping, dad would be off to work. My brother and I, we would ride our guard's bicycle at home. And one day, my luck just ran out. I was turning the bike, and the brake just went inside my thigh, right? It just tore it. I had no choice but to run to doctor, had to get it stitched up and all, and my mom came to know, which he gave my brother and I a thrashing after that. Uh, and then in 1984, was it when RX 100 was launched?
Yeah, yeah.
84?
Legend. Yeah.
We took dealership of Rajdut Yamaha, right? And there it was, my mom not wanting us to ride bicycles, and here is we own a business of selling motorcycles. So I remember those days when I was riding the RX 100 as it was launched. I was still in my teens then. The RD 350.
These are
Those
legendary
days.
bikes, yeah.
Yeah, those days they used to have they used to have 500cc motorcycle races. They were called 500cc motorcycle. And Yamaha was ruling the charts at that time. I remember at our showroom there was a big screen uh, with these races being played, right? Just to
Wow.
really inspire people who would buy. And that is what we would try and do on the road.
Oh, God.
I don't know. I mean, those were the days. Looking back, why would you ever want to do that without a helmet, for example? Right? But I remember, I mean, I've got bruises on my legs, my knees, my arms.
And downright
Just the
lucky.
number of times I have skid and fell on the road is not a joke.
You might want to leave a public safety message.
Correct. So, but that's where BPM ties up, right?
Right.
About safety being paramount. Yeah, so those were the days. And then I remember have not ridden a motorcycle since 95 is when I rode it last, to 2019 when I bought the DIY.
Yeah. So there's this funny story which some of our friends had told. Okay, now track riding has changed your life. It's changed my life. Like I said, literally every episode I had to bring it up and I say, it's been transformational. I'm gonna spare everybody the repeat. But I remember there's this funny incident about you. The first time you got on the bike and you did a trip to I think Patni Top or somewhere. With I wasn't there, but here's what I heard:
Yes.
that you would go straight. You were so stiff. Leaning right meant this. Leaning left meant this. Versus today after track, you literally knee downs on the track. So how is that transformation? How did that happen?
So I can tell you, I was probably just looking to overtake. That is when I was moving my neck left and right. See, the journey has been phenomenal, and BBM's played a big role in it. I must say so. I think the off-roading experiences that we arrange for our members, the ones on the track, just make you a better rider. It's just so much you learn about the art of biking. Let's put it like that, right? And the safety part of it. It just comes naturally to you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't head out, I can tell you, if I had to go to a colony market now without a helmet and a gear, right? Which also dissuades me from riding, but I wouldn't dare do that anymore.
Correct.
I wouldn't dare do that anymore.
Yeah. So I think some of that is what makes riding safer. And I think for BBM, for all of us, safety has been paramount. And like I've shared this a lot of times, our mission of every trip is to go safely and come back happily. We are accountable to our families. So it's important that we also stay away from harm's way. Helmet, jacket, gears. We always have a backup car. We have paramedic. We have rides. I think luckily we've never needed one.
Yes.
And I think, but doesn't mean you don't need it, right?
So it's
we
like
always have-
insurance, right?
It's like insurance.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
So I think
You need
some of
that.
that makes the rides a lot more fun. Initially, I remember you used to tell me, Shashank, enjoy the journey, enjoy the journey. In the late trip, right? For me, it was about getting from point A to point B in safety, in broad daylight, because I had very clear rules that I will not ride at night time. If something is not okay, then I'd rather not do things. Like the Niki Lauda's statement, 25% risk, anything more is not acceptable.
Hmm.
But I think through the years, thanks to BBM, I've started enjoying those rides. To me now, the journeys become more important than the destination.
No, correct. So you just plan your program like that. I agree. I mean, safety being paramount, you should not be riding, when it's dark, the sun's down. You shouldn't obviously do that. So you just plan your program like that, and that's what I guess we've done. I mean, we've done trips to 4 countries in Europe,
Oh
right?
yes,
And not a day when we were riding after sunset. In fact, I
Absolutely.
must tell you something about that trip. That rather unfortunately for Gaurav and you missed out on.
Ah, come on, we did.
No, and I'll tell you, and that how that ties up with what we do at Leisureways. So I remember this time we had left from
This was in Austria. I remember clearly.
Seefeld.
I know.
We were riding to Munich.
No, this
Right.
was we were arriving to Seafed.
We were arriving.
We were
Sorry,
arriving to
my
Seafed,
bad.
and I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
"Look,
that's right.
we're on a schedule. Let's just
We
get
were on
done."
a lake, yeah.
And you were like, "No, let's explore the unexplored." So you, Kapil, and Vishnu headed out.
Yes.
God knows what you did up there. You came back empty-handed, and Kapil came back with a photograph. That's I know. That's all I know of.
Yes.
So there is no tying in.
No, so
Me and Gaurav and I had a lovely drink at the bar.
yes,
We chilled out
Yes.
and we bitched about you a little bit.
yes,
That look at these guys, they've gone to a place which they did not know.
yes.
When Kapil came back overcompensating that it was crazy, it was unbelievable, it was brilliant. I get it. Then we knew that there was nothing that we missed.
Look, I'll tell you what that detour for us meant. Transformational travel is ungoogleable. It's unplanned. It's unscripted, right? It's unseen. And that's what we did that day.
Yeah.
Right? We just decided to do exactly the opposite of what Google Maps was asking to do.
Yeah.
Right? And having traveled to
Look, I think we
tons of
evolved.
countries.
For me at that point in time, and I think honestly for all the time, right? Whenever we do as anything we do as BBN, for me it becomes my responsibility that we go safely and come back happily. So for me, for some reason, that is always there at the back of my head.
Yeah.
And in Europe, maybe I think a lot of what you do and talk and behave also is a reflection of your stage and state of evolution in life. At that point, I was a sucker for routine, and you know that better than anybody else, right? We've had discussions and disagreements over it. But I think at that point, I was a sucker for routine. For me, at that point, and very honestly, right? For me, at that point, you were doing stuff which was probably adjacent to your work, so you knew something and you were pursuing it. For me, we are on a schedule and I had to get there. So I think some of those elements today, like I said, I'm grateful to you because I remember you were the one who always said, enjoy the journey, not don't be in a hurry to get to the destination. And I think it is a journey of evolution. I've reached there today, I've told that to you.
Sure.
So thank you for it. I've learned to enjoy the journey a little more, provide cushion before we reach. But at that point in time, I was a sucker for routine. I still am.
Sure.
For safety, we all are.
No, so it
Yeah.
has held us in good stead, honestly, the way the structured programs are designed. But like I said, that's transformational travel, right? So long you do this within our boundaries of what
Safety.
could be
Yeah.
safe, right? We could do that.
What is your most memorable BBM trip? Of course, Europe was fun. Every trip is a crazy highlight.
So it's difficult. It's like asking a parent, his favorite child. How do you pick one? It's difficult to pick one, honestly.
Yeah.
But I remember we met in Ladakh, right? In fact, a lot of BBM friendships came out of
Came out
that.
there, yeah.
So I think that trip, as poorly organized it was,
It was not a BBM trip, by the way.
it was not a BBM trip, brought in lifetime friendships, right? I think a lot of us met there. So from there, that trip to transition to trips that we've done with BBM, it's a world of a difference.
Yeah.
Not just in the stories that we're weaving, not just in the experience we want our riders to have, just the basics, like you said, safety, right? Ensuring there's a paramedic, right? Or a backup vehicle for that matter.
And you always have
Right,
doctor, huh? So we are so
you always have
diverse
doctor,
that we
yeah.
always end up having a doctor on our trip
Yeah,
who's riding with us.
Yeah.
So
In fact, some of our members ensure that we need one, right?
yeah.
Right. But you know what? So that, he said, makes you focus on what you're truly out there for, which is focus on the fun part of riding, right?
Yeah.
You don't have
So
to.
I remember the craziest time when I was talking to Prashant, I was talking to Vishnu about it. And it was on our Italian highways, right? So we'd
Oh, I
done
remember.
Germany, we'd done Switzerland.
Crazy.
And do you want to talk about it?
Yeah,
You were
of
leading,
course.
I was sweeping it around and talking.
I remember absolutely. We had entered Italy from
Switzerland.
Switzerland, right? And Swiss, of course, the beautiful landscape, fantastic highways, great infrastructure,
More importantly, sensible driving.
sensible driving, of course. And in a moment, right, you are where the roads are half the size, right? The highways are not as great in terms of maintenance. There's more traffic. Not just that,
Mad Max.
rowdy traffic.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Totally. I remember this particular instance where, and if I think it was a 90, 110 and 130 lane or
So the
something like that.
120 and the bikes, the cars, the 16 wheelers and 20 wheelers are at 120.
Correct. So we were in the middle lane. I remember riding because the right lane was, the left lane was for the trucks, the right one for the cars. And I thought we were still within maintaining our speed limit there when we had this probably like a 22 axle trailer, right? Overtake us. It was a scary moment, but I realized I must tell you through that when we keep pulling your leg on how many people you brushed on the wrong side there. But I remember that particular incident, how important it is for us to stay synchronized,
Correct.
right? And the importance, I'm not saying I learned there, but it just keeps reiterating every single time. The need to have a great lead, but an equally better or rather better sweep.
So the lead and the sweep on a mutual admiration trip, which is good.
I was
Really
living
nice.
here right now. Yeah. So a lot of times I can tell you, you see, it is a job that comes with responsibility,
Yeah.
right?
So
People
people might think, I agree. So people might think, what's the big deal, right? maybe they might credit the sweep a little more than the lead. But here's the fact: when you take those bends on Ladakh, which are 90 degrees, blind turns, steep inclines, or steep declines, the lead defines the way. One mistake and the convoy can get stuck. So I think it is a massive responsibility, equally important, if not more.
No, a lot of people I can tell you think that lead is having fun because lead could just ride at its own pace, right? But truly, you're trying to keep the pack
Correct.
together, isn't it?
Yeah.
I can see sweep is understandable. You've got X number of bikes ahead of you, and you just have to be at that speed. But same for the lead, right? To keep the pack
Correct.
together,
No, I
right? It's
think
not like
also
you're
the
freewheeling.
perils that in ahead of you on the road, any road, and I think I remember very clearly, our riding in the hills is so much more cool right now. People look at us, they might think we're just mad. And of course, we're always within the speed limits, etc. But the point is, you're taking turns blindly, and that is not blindly. That's because the lead is already crossed, and we're all on intercom, and the lead says it's all clear, come. And if there's oncoming traffic, it's like very clear oncoming, and then we all know. So it's so much more safer, so much more relaxed when we are riding, and we are actually able to carry slightly higher ambient speeds and still be a lot safer than anybody else on the road.
Right.
So I think it's power of one set of eyes versus 10 set of eyes, right?
Sure.
So
And also the fact that I know every single time before we leaving, there's a safety briefing that you do, and you keep reiterating the same things again and again. People wonder why the hell. But the moment you sit on the saddle, you realize the importance of it, right? It's very easy to lose weight, frankly, when you're sitting on, a machine that clearly outpowers anything that you ever experience in life, right? So it's important for you to stay grounded in that sense.
oh hell yes. I
And
think a lot of
and
times if you
that
notice, a lot of bikes, people end up having crashes, etc. That's because these bikes are so powerful. Our human mind on a car or a regular mode of transport is not used to. The way the scenery changes in stunning speeds. The point of bikes or super bikes is they can get to incredible speeds incredibly quickly. For a 0 to 100 on a Panigale or a Hayabusa for that matter, can get to in about 2.5 seconds. Compare that to a Ferrari, wouldn't be able to do that.
No, see, Admit, I hate to say it. The reality, of course, is that bikes by design are unsafe,
Yeah.
right? You're balancing on two wheels here, right? As opposed to four when you're in a car. And you have to
Passion,
balance it
passion
also.
with perils.
Absolutely. I mean, you just have to be mindful and, like you said, responsible that there are families, right? Or otherwise as well. I mean, firstly, of course, you have to respond for yourself, right? But it's just so much more fun
Yeah.
and great. And that's what we've never ever had an incident, right? And
Yeah. So I think that's the power of the community, and I think which is why we have this podcast today. I've learned so much. I've learned travel from you. I've shared a few kgs thanks to you, uh, and of course,
I put on those.
thank you. The lead and sweep. I
Yeah,
think the balance works.
correct.
And I think most importantly, we are here on BBM today thanks to some of that push which you did. So, and I think we're on a crazy journey. We've been blessed to have such diverse bunch of members talking about diverse topics. Look, we've done 5 podcasts before this. This is the
Yeah.
seventh one. And we've had hospitality, we've had schools, we've had events and experiential marketing. We have experiential travel. And I think we've just not even scratched the surface.
Look, so uh, I mean, I must say this to you. You're obviously the conduit, right? That holds it all together in BBM. And how many times we've discussed the passion, right? And that you bring to the fore, of course, which holds people together, which is great energy. I mean, we all wonder where it comes from.
I think it's
Actually,
us.
we do know where it comes from.
It's us. I think
Right? Yes.
so when a bunch of people come together with no intentions or no
Yeah, no,
expectations, we're there to have fun. We don't have political discussions in a forum. We never have forwards.
we've
on
had a
the
few.
groups. We've had a
We've
few
had a few
one-on-one, that's
personally.
it. Educational, and I mean, we have maturity, right? We
Yeah.
can have. I mean, we celebrate our diversity. That's the whole moot point of this community.
Yeah.
I think you celebrate diversity, but there are very respectful boundaries we've set for everybody within the group to make it, because we have enough stuff happening in life anyway. And you don't want to come on a Sunday and still feel stressed. So this is a rejuvenation experience for us. It's a nice little club we've got where we come for therapy, do what you like, and then get back recharged to survive the grind of what life throws at you over the next 1 week.
No, I think for me personally, because I'm in the business of curating something, right? You're in some sense always in interview mode. Now I'll go back to um, a drive that you and I undertook to Corbett.
Oh yes.
You remember that,
Oh
right?
yes.
How we actually made a day trip,
Correct.
right? And then we went
So
back the next day.
Akil had a incident, and he still appreciates what I mean. But that's just family, right?
Correct. Right.
So I think yeah,
Correct. No, I
Akil's lined up
remember.
for the podcast next. Of
Oh,
course,
very
may
nice.
find ways to get him to India, or we have to go to Indonesia for it. But I think that experience was great. I mean, thanks to you,
Correct.
you said no, no, let's just do it, and we went, came back, and while we came back, we had
Correct. On
a
our return,
oh
we discussed a lot of music. And I'll tell you what struck me at that time. And this is how it is. I mean, you're always noticing discussions people have and just picking up uh, things, right? So I remember just as we had left, because you and I were driving, we were clearly not just sweeping,
yeah
we were not even around the pack, I remember. Right? And we're discussing about music, and I picked up your passion for it and how that ties into all the travels you've done. And that is what I was thinking at that time. And how? Look at it like this. So, what should any great musical composition should have? So, it's got to have silence. It's got to have pause, right, between words. Great travel's got to have that because you need time to sit back and reflect. It's got to have a tempo, great music. It's got to have a mood, and it must have a crescendo. Think back and reflect on all the great travels you think
yeah
you've done, and you will find shades of this. And that's what I picked up on, on our journey there, on how unknowingly
yeah
it all just comes together
yeah.
because you have it in you, right? And it just shows up anything that you may be passionate about. Think about it in biking. You'll find the same shades.
Yeah. No, it's very, very profound and amazing. Very profound, in fact. But talking about music and crescendo, we knew that you had a penchant for music when you were in college and
Yes,
growing up.
yes,
You did have shoulder length hair. But a little body tells me
yes,
that you're at Chanto Chords practicing vocals.
yes, that is true. So yeah, so look, I love music. I am always listening to music, whether in the car or the house. Doesn't matter where I'm in the office. You've seen, right? It's just it. In fact, now that we're discussing ID at our new house, we're discussing where to put all the speakers, right, and how they have to be connected and all of that. It's something which is just a part of me. I absolutely love it. And from an early age, um, uh, you know, some of us were a common bunch of people who were Duran Duran fans.
No,
I'm not sure if many people have even
no,
know of
yeah,
Duran Duran,
legendary.
right? 5 members. We were absolutely crazy about the music. And we started our own band called Anxiety, right? Where I took the four strings, the bass guitar, and the backup vocals. And then, as life would have it, right, it somehow lost its voice, and we just got into, professionally doing whatever we do. Um, COVID, for all the wrong we may think it did to the world, I think there are some brilliant things that
Yes, yes.
happened, right? It just brought us together, paused, reflected upon life. So I first picked up playing the guitar again then because my kids, Jay and Arya, one was playing the guitar, then learning to the other one drums. So I just picked up the guitar again. And some months ago, I was just getting bored, right? And I said, why am I not singing again? Why not? Actually, I'm always singing, I can
Awesome.
tell you, but I'm more like a bathroom singer. And I said, why don't I just pick it up again? And I landed up Karan's place. And that's it.
And power of community, we have one of the best music institutes in the city, and one phone call and it's done, right? So
I
life
must tell
becomes
you,
so easy.
I go there once a week
Yeah.
and that's most satisfying 2 hours of that day.
I
There's-
was telling Karan the
Yeah.
other day on the previous catch up, Pratima and entire team, they just do a fab job of carrying it. I mean, half our community members are anyway there, and now of course our lead is already there.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, don't ask me to sing though. Yeah. Yeah.
awesome. So Ashish, it's been brilliant. You are a founding member of BBM, an integral part of our journey where we started and where we are. And of course, we have miles and miles and miles to go before we get to anywhere. But I think it's a passion project for all of us. Thank you for supporting it in letter, in spirit, always. And like I said, you always are a great friend, a great mentor, a great guide from a lot of aspects of life and to a lot of people at Bikes, Buddies, and more. So thank you.
So can I just say ditto? Right? and no, but
And we know how you
thank
copy paste
right?
messages.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah,
know that,
so-
right? Yeah. So ditto. Right?
So
Yeah.
thank you. But this is not done.
Yes.
As you're aware of the format,
Yes.
we have the next section, and this one is a lot of fun. So this is sponsored by Super Suzuki, and this week they showcase a very special bike.
Yes.
It's been a sweetheart of the world for decades on. We have it parked right here exclusively for you
Okay.
in our secret space. We are going to be joined by Majid, who also runs Super Suzuki,
Yes.
who's going to take us through it. And that's still not done.
Okay.
Section 4 is where we take you to the Buddha International
Can't
Circuit,
wait.
and we're going to make you ride the showcase bike
Awesome.
of the week.
Awesome. Awesome. All right.
Are you excited?
Very absolutely.
Can we go?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
So we have a very special bike
All right.
and a very special person waiting for you.
Okay.
So this is
Yes.
the 2025
Yes.
Suzuki
Yes.
Hayabusa.
I can't wait. Let's go.
And we have a dashing superstar. So Ashish, meet Majid.
Hello,
Majid,
hello,
bye.
Ashish.
Thank you so
Majid.
much.
Nice to
How are
meet you.
Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet
Thank you so
Hello.
much. Always appreciate you being
Wow.
here. And
The right
this is
word
courtesy.
for him is rockstar.
No.
He is our rockstar.
This is courtesy Suzuki, like I
Okay.
shared. So thank you, Majid bhai, for getting the 2025 Suzuki Hayabusa up close and personal for us. And yeah, we can go around. What do you think?
Lovely. Absolutely. What a stunning color.
So
Right. And
This is our 25th anniversary edition. I think they have made less than 200 or 250 units
so
of this.
25 years of Hayabusa.
Yes, 25.
Imagine.
Imagine that. right?
Imagine.
Imagine the legacy.
Yeah.
Right? Wow.
And
Okay.
it continues.
Wow. Fantastic.
So I
Fantastic.
remember Majid telling me that. So the lot had come. I think this was last year.
Yeah.
The lot had come. There were a bunch of people who had booked. Can you believe it? There was a stampede outside their showroom. Cops had to come in.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Only thing short was
People
riot
wanting to
police.
see it or buy it?
No, people had
Just get a
booked.
glimpse.
They were delivering some 20 bikes that day.
Yes.
And it was
But
sold out the day they opened. So they opened their booking on the website. It's like, I think, 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour?
Yeah.
Like a
maximum-
riot.
No. First lot was sold out within 9-10 minutes. Second lot was sold out within 3 minutes. And you know what happened? Suzuki opened a window
What
on
euphoria, huh?
their website.
Crazy.
So this is a story to know. So Suzuki opened
Let's
their
get
window
closer, huh?
to book the website.
Huh.
There was only one way to book your Hayabusa.
Huh.
No dealer can book it
Huh.
for you. You
Huh.
have to book it yourself.
Right.
So what they open a window on their website. 11:59 bookings will be opened, and we have 150 units, and they just start the button.
Correct.
We started booking bikes. We thought 150 bikes are there. We'll be able to crack 10, 15 for our dealership.
Correct.
We're sitting, laying down, me, Arjun Bhaiya, Rishi Bhaiya, having coffee, sipping, and putting details of customers and having coffee. I said, oh, I'm done with one. Okay, let's go. Second, I'm writing down the details of an applicant. Credit card number. Sold out. I was like, some glitch is happening, I guess, there.
You sure you weren't booking Coldplay tickets, right?
I
Concert
have
tickets, right?
no.
That's the
That
only
should
one I
have
know.
been literally
Yeah.
in the media. what happened that night? What happened in the next lot? We hired a team of about 25 or 30 people.
You can say this on record, no?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay, thank God.
literally. We literally hired 25, 30 people, and we called them, and the only criteria was you need to bring your own laptop,
Huh.
and you sit in front of us. We're giving you detail printed on the paper.
Huh.
You have to write down all the details and
Make the booking.
make the booking.
It is
Unbelievable. They're like a cult.
We were only able to make 10 or 11 bookings.
imagine.
Man.
It's just
Absolutely.
unbelievable. Yeah. I think in a lot of ways this is iconic, right? It set off the trend. I think the first time I saw this was the tag that this was the fastest production motorcycle in the world.
Yes.
This was sometime in 1990s or 2000s or 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10. But this in a lot of ways has adorned the
But I
posters and
remember,
walls.
Diwakar's,
Yeah.
when he got his, right? And the number of
Yeah, by
viewers
the
on
way, yeah.
leads, right? Yeah.
So, by the way, the best performing reel on our Insta channel of Bikes, Buddies and More is the Hayabusa.
Is it?
I mean, on
Wow.
an average, we get, say, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
Okay.
On a good day for a great, like my bike and all we delivered, that was, say, 75,000, 80,000, 100,000 maybe.
Wow.
This one, day one, 200,000.
Oh,
It
wow.
was crazy. So,
God.
anything with Busa is sold.
So what
It's a
makes it
bestseller.
so? What makes it what it is? I mean, there are tons of
What
other
is it
bikes
about?
around, right? What is it that makes it
I
a cult
think,
bike? I mean, why does it have such a massive following? Why are people drooling all over it?
I think this was the first bike which were introduced in the Indian market, and which were available easily in the Indian market. So this name went.
It became
to
synonymous with superbikes, I
Each
think.
door, it went to each door very easily, and right after that, our
Doom.
movie Doom movie
Oh,
made
yeah.
it very
Okay.
very.
So, John
famous
Abraham
as well.
took it into
Yeah.
the houses, basically.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think they should still,
Pay
give
royalty.
some tribute. Yeah,
Yeah.
they should.
No, but I think the
So
other thing.
other than this, I mean, how many bikes would you be really selling, if at all? Hayabusa. It's almost in demand.
Ask him how many do you want to sell, and he doesn't have an answer
Yeah.
because he's
Yeah.
always struggling
So
for
it's
supply.
always on a wait list.
He's
That's
always
what it
struggling
is.
for supply.
Always. We probably call it like 6 months, 7 months waiting. And when it actually comes on the paper, it sometimes crosses 9 months and 10 months also.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it's a crazy machine. This one is what, 190 bhp?
This is 196 bhp
Okay.
on the crank. But if you read about it or not, so each bike, actual bhp, it is totally different. Each bike on the rear wheel, the difference would be somewhere around 20 bhp.
Oh,
Yeah. So the fastest is V4.
okay.
So they have 184 bhp on the rear wheel.
So you put that on a dyno and then you get the out.
Yes.
So that's the maximum performance you would
Yeah.
expect,
Yeah.
right? Under
Yeah.
circumstances and this and that. Okay.
But then later on, why is this more famous outside this country as well? You have more option to modify this engine, high lift camshafts and ceramic bearings and ceramic piston rings and all that, so that they use this bike more in their drag races and to produce more bhp out of it.
Okay.
And engine still remains intact. They can do the same process with other bikes,
Okay.
but the record says that the engine blows up very, but this one remains intact on the higher modification as well.
Okay. Got
So
it.
they like this bike for.
There's a 1300cc inline 4. So it's like a car. And it's comfortable, and it's comfortable like a car. So this one's the anniversary edition. So the 25th year anniversary for Hayabusa.
Yeah.
And like I said, about 190 horses. I rode it this morning from my place to put it here. And I can tell you, surprisingly comfortable. Why don't you hop on and then we'll talk.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's do that. Wow. All right. Wow.
Excellent. You want to turn her up?
Yeah.
Don't turn her on, but just turn her on.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You get the drift. Yeah.
So another part which I liked about even if they are moderating this bike each year, but they are not letting go this analog part.
That's something analog.
And
Absolutely. Yeah,
I
yeah.
really like that.
I think any Petrol head would love that, right?
Yes,
You don't want to move digital,
yes.
absolutely.
They don't want to play
Yeah,
with it.
correct.
They have additionally given a very small LED screen in the center, but they kept the legacy of
Correct.
analog meter there.
Correct.
So which gives you a very retro vibe of the bike. But
And
right
25
now,
years, right?
So the newer edition apparently, and of course, yeah, you're right. So 25 years, tried and tested engine, but the fact is they have in fact reduced the power. They've not gone on that race. The bike is lighter. It has better structural rigidity. And it's far more comfortable. It meets the emission norms, and apparently, low down performance is improved. So they've reduced the power, but 0 to 100 is better than the previous generation.
Sure. Okay.
So it's basically
Better
much
tuned
better,
and, yeah.
improvement in dynamics, improvement in
Technology. And
Yeah. So
technology
Very
part, I would say if you pin down on the paper, right now, if literally from all the other brands, this has the most possible features available in any bike. This is here in the bike,
Is that okay?
in this bike.
Okay.
I don't think so they would ever need a hill assist control, incline and decline, both sides. This bike has that.
Okay.
Now, I don't think so we have in any bike, or maybe some of them, that you can control your engine braking system softer, harder, or very hard. So how it helps when you are cruising towards probably Goa or maybe Jaipur or something. It's a straight road. So if you are on a throttle and maybe you just want to straighten up a bit, so you leave your throttle for a second and you straighten up. So your engine braking is on one scale, you can't change it. So your bike slows down, right? So now what they have done is they've given you option to from harder to go the basic minimum softer option of our engine braking system. So when you leave your throttle, your bike doesn't stop. It doesn't the acceleration
slow down,
doesn't slow down.
doesn't decelerate as much.
Now when you
power
are on
delivery.
when you are on the hills, so you can keep your engine braking system EBC on the number of 10. There is a scale.
It's activated, yeah.
So the moment you leave your throttle, half the braking is engine braking system.
Sure.
So that is helping
Okay.
that way.
Okay.
So very
That's interesting, no?
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
things. Now it has a wheelie control. Then there is another option. Traction control is there, wheelie control is there. It has a stoppie control as well.
Oh wow.
So now if you want to do a stoppie on the bike, you have to lift it off and then do a stoppie, and it'll go well enough.
You'll need crazy levels of skill like you.
correct,
So
correct,
Majid is a mad guy on the track.
Correct. We were talking about that,
Yeah.
yes.
So I've seen him ride the same Hayabusa on the track, and he's
Yeah.
an unbelievably skilled rider.
Yeah.
So even the first time he's ridden it, I've seen him. It's just
Yeah.
bonkers, right? How such a huge machine he manages to
Yeah.
effortlessly throw around, and I think he was thrashing a few people left, right, and center on the Busa. It's unbelievable to see a Busa whacking a lot of us on the.
But I was surprised as well that this bike, we could literally do 214 on BIC. The fastest lap time on BIC is about 155, 156 by any Indian rider. So I was not very skilled back then. That was my initial days on the
Yeah.
track. I did 2 minutes and 14 seconds on this bike without even slicks and without changing the brakes and anything.
Wow.
So put that in perspective, I do
Yeah.
213 on the V4. Of course, skill level ka difference hai,
Yeah,
but I think on a Busa it's just crazy.
But then
Correct,
when
no.
see it
On a
always
normal
goes
bike, what you do two?
two.
That's it. So he's like drop dead two,
Yeah.
which is
Wow.
he's blisteringly quick.
Yeah.
And so him and Arjun, I remember,
Oh.
they do on 600cc bikes, they do 2.6s and 2.5s and 2.4s.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's
Yeah, not just
obscene.
about power. Yeah,
It's
correct.
blasphemous. I mean,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hate them for it.
Probably last 2 seconds, like when you want to go from 157 to 155, then a bike plays a massive role. But till then, your skill plays a massive role.
Sure.
No, I just choose to
Correct.
disagree
Huh.
because what I do is I just get more powerful bikes because I don't have. So I think Monty took us to the track the first time,
Okay.
and after that, of course, it's been a love affair. Can't help it. But I think a lot of seniors like him, I don't know in age, but in stature and experience for
Yeah,
sure.
let's go
You are-
past that.
you are
Yeah,
way
let's not
younger
talk
than
about
me.
age
No,
here. Yes.
So he's the youngest one on the track.
So thanks to all of them, I've learned so much. It's unbelievable,
Yeah.
and it's just amazing. They're just too kind. lovely bunch of people. You get to learn so much from all of them.
I look
And
forward to
selflessly
riding
they
this
do
on
it.
the track.
So
I started
he's
my
going to
track
coach
on
you. He's going to
Busa.
guide you because he's done 214, and that's the
Yeah.
time for you to beat
Yeah.
on the
Okay.
BIC.
The first time.
On the
214.
Busa.
Okay. Cool.
He's going to train you because
Yes.
he's an accomplished rider.
Yeah.
And then we'll have fun on the BIC next week.
The
And by the way, this is recording, right? So
yeah, I was
this made a significant difference.
What is that?
I can tell you the exhaust sounds very nice.
Hmm.
I rode it like I said in the morning.
Hmm.
It does a lot of difference. Suddenly the engine breathes easier. It's like
Yes.
the catcon and all
I was about to come on
suffocates
that.
it.
Yes.
I felt it was so much freer than other bikes.
And this is stock.
This is
No,
not stock. This is
this is not
accessory.
Acra
Ah,
polish.
correct,
Doesn't
correct.
matter.
Ah, correct,
So this
correct,
is
correct,
free
correct.
flowing.
Full
Okay.
system.
Correct. Full system.
This bike generally comes with two-side exhaust,
Okay.
weight of about 20 kgs.
Shaved off.
Yeah, literally. But I always prefer Acra or any Hayabusa. They are the only exhaust, probably by far, which actually works on the performance, enhanced performance on the bike. It is not just giving you the inline sound, but as well as good power. Good
So
power.
this takes off 20 kgs and adds how much power?
Not less than 10 bhp, I guess.
10
So like
bhp.
roughly 10% is what they say
Yes,
when you. So 10% of your total output comes back. I mean,
Yes.
plus the weight.
Plus
But the
weight.
point is that the engine breathes freer.
Hmm.
It's so much more lighter, easier. When I rode it, I thought the brakes were brilliant. They've upgraded the brakes in this
Yes,
edition.
it is same as the V4 Stylema caliper.
Stylema
Same.
caliper,
Yeah.
so it's like
Yeah.
very strong braking. You don't feel the weight, honestly. I didn't feel it. It's very low down compared to our bikes, which are fairly tall. This is fairly low, so it's very accessible and comfortable. For a minute, it looks big, but when you're atop, did you feel the size?
No, not at all. In fact, I've heard from some of our BBM riders who got this, right, and how they can just really, the bike just envelopes them, right, as they start moving.
So it's like, in a lot of ways, you're in the bike. So you're
Yeah.
cocoon.
Yeah.
So there is barely any wind blast. And it's a sofa, man. It's like
And the weight distribution is very
beautiful. Yeah, I agree.
It's amazing.
And
Right.
this is also
Very nice
basically
bike.
aerodynamism, right?
Yes.
You need this cowl for
Yes.
aerodynamism. So it just there's no drag.
Yeah.
And they've got spoiler here also, man.
Yes. It's for more aerodynamics.
Look at that, there's
right.
spoiler here.
Yes. Yes. The anniversary edition has got some significant points. Like their drive chain has a very small logo on the chain.
Oh,
If you notice it closely,
yeah.
there are some
Japanese
Hayabusa. Yes.
the
So very similarly, they have put a very
The label.
significant logo here, and on the stock exhaust as well, they mention a 25th anniversary, a big patch
Okay.
embossed on the stock exhaust as well. Right.
No, it doesn't feel like a stretch at all. This is so much. The handlebars are not as broad as usual bikes.
Yes. That's right.
They're far closer.
Right.
Good stuff.
Nice.
And I think I love the foldable mirrors. Click. Thank you for bringing her to us.
Most welcome.
Really
My
appreciate.
pleasure.
I think
My
it just
pleasure.
adds so much color to this secret space of ours. Excellento. Thank you, Majid bhai.
Welcome, sir.
See you at the track.
See you at the
See you
track.
at
sir.
BIC.
Yes,
See
thank
you.
you very much.
See you.
Thank you,
sir.
Ashish.
Thank you.
Ashish, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. A small token from us to us.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I'll also request Majid to please come. Majid, thank you so much for making it. Really appreciate all your support and partnership.
Thank you.
And this is small token from Super Suzuki. Let's have a nice pic.
Yes, please.
Really comfortable.
We have set a very small secret on the cowl of this
Yeah.
bike, inside the cowl of this bike.
Okay.
So there is a secret card swiping machines which works on a tap as well.
So basically go back.
So yes. So your wallet
Next
has
purchase
already
is done.
given us a booking for this bike.